For my research, I'm really interested in how the protest movement has been narrated or talked about in its aftermath. And what I've been doing just in the past few days is looking at accounts written by students during the protests themselves. And then also there's several accounts written right after the end of the protest, these violent sort of anti-governmental protests and this intersect fighting that marked the end of the student movement really caused many of the students to have a self-reflection. And this really allows me to understand how students were talking about what they wanted to do and what they were doing during it and right after. And I think a lot of these, I spent time doing research in Japan, and a lot of the material here isn't even accessible in Japan, or if it is, it's spread out between many different areas, and trying to get access to it is difficult. And so having all that material in one place and the variety of it has been immensely helpful. This type of research, obviously the archival material is the main reason I'm here, but the other reason is to develop connections between scholars of Japanese studies to be able to share my work and get feedback on it in a very immediate way while I'm conducting the research. I think you don't get that many times. This discussion, while I am here, while I still can go back and go, oh, I didn't know you had that here, is invaluable, and something that I think is particularly unique to the funding that I've received here.
My research is on the main international airport to get into Tokyo. Is called Narita. It's in Chiba Prefecture, about 2 hours outside of the city. And for like 10, 15 years, there were these massive violent protests against the construction of it by the people that lived there on the land and didn't want the government to confiscate their land to build the airport. And the tower they built was kind of made to block the runway so that they could never, even after they had finished the runway, they couldn't take planes off from it, meaning the airport couldn't open. And that was kind of their last ditch effort to stop them from opening the airport before it finally opened in 1982 after the police kind of violently brought their tower down.
So far, I found it very, very full, very varied in terms of the kind of options of, there's lots of things here. There's our, primary sources that I can't access outside of Japan. And being able to come here and see things that I expect might be rare even within Japan has been really, really wonderful. One thing that I set out to do in coming here was try to find connections that the protesters that I'm studying, these protesters against the construction of Narita Airport, from how they were making connections with other protest movements across Japan and around the world. And already so far I found correspondence and newsletters from all these groups, and that has really, really impressed me so far. To me, the most important thing is being able to kind of expose students to my own kind of love, share that love for Japanese history and Japanese culture with them, and to kind of broaden their perspectives, broaden their horizons about the world.